Hi everybody, this is Jason with Centralutions. I wanted to give you a quick tour of the target scoring plugin for the laser activated shot reporter. If we go to the plugins dialog by clicking on the plugins button at the top right, it looks like an electric plug. The plugins dialog will appear. Once the plugins dialog appears, we're going to see a list of all of the plugins that are available. And if you have not purchased the target scoring plugin, you can do so by clicking on the information link. It'll take you to the purchase page. You'll be able to go ahead and check out just like you were to check out of any other cart, and then you'll get an activation key. When you get that activation key, you'll need to click on the Activate a Plugin button, and then you enter that key and it'll associate the activation information with your license. Suffice it to say, if you go ahead and go look at the What's New in LASR version 2.1, we go into that just a little further in depth. And you can learn how to activate plugins there. I already have mine activated, so I'm going to go ahead and enable it. Once I have it enabled, I can also click on the options link, and I can take a look at some of the options. So if you look at the lines in here, you'll notice a theme. We have an amount, and we have what we want to apply that amount to. And right now, we can apply the amount that you put into either to your time or to your score. So think of it as seconds or points. And so errant shots, which are shots on targets that were not called. So if I'm in call targets mode and I shoot the wrong target, I want to apply a 1 point or a 1 second penalty to my time. So I said apply to time here. Excessive shots, I want to subtract half of a point from my score. So I put in minus 0.5 and I chose apply to score from the drop down list. So again, your two options are score or time. Think of it as seconds or points. Okay. Let's go ahead and close that, and we'll close this as well. And then once I have that set up, when I take a couple of shots, you'll notice that the scoring on the bottom of the timesheet is shown along with a score for each shot. So each of these shots was worth 0.5 points, and it totals those up in the green inject there. So I got 1 point because I took 2 half-point shots. I had 0 time penalties, and the total time was 2.16 with time penalties. Now you may ask, where did the 0.5 come from for each one of those shots? Because those weren't errant shots and they were not excessive shots. Well, if you go into each of the target areas in the target options dialog, you will notice that you can set a value, and I had done this before I started the video, but you can set a value for each one of your target zones. So the rectangle in target 1 is worth 0.5, and I'm going to apply that to my score. Target 2, which is the head box, I can apply that to my score as well. I had 0.5 there. Since that's a smaller target, maybe I want to go ahead and bump that up to 1.0. So I get a full point for a headshot, but only half a point for an A-zone shot on the chest. So let's go ahead and make that change. We'll zoom back out. We're going to reset, and then we're going to take a couple shots on the chest, and then a couple shots on the head. And you'll notice in the timesheet that each one of the headshots, which were the last 2, is worth 1 point, and the body shots were worth half a point, and so those were totaled up to 3 points, 1, 1, and half. Okay. So now let's say I wanted to go ahead and apply some sort of penalty for shots that are out here in my backdrop zone, which is pretty much everything except the A zone. So if I go in here into my target options and I choose B1, which is my backdrop zone, let's say I want to be really mean and add 3 seconds to my time. I'm going to give myself a time penalty for every time that I make a shot outside of the A zones. So I'm going to go ahead, reset, and start. And then I'll make a shot on the A zone, and then make a shot outside of the A zone, and then make a shot on the head, make a shot outside. Okay, so now if I go look at my timesheet, I'll notice that I had one shot on the A zone, which was worth half a point. I had another shot on the A zone in the head, which was worth 1 point. But then you'll notice the backdrop shots, they each added, they are T plus 3, so they each added 3 seconds to my total time. So in the summary, I can see I got 1.5 points. However, I had 6 seconds in penalties because I had 2 bad shots, and so it sums it up for me. So my total time with penalties was 15.05 seconds. And of course, you can run different variations of this. You can use negative values to subtract points. You can do all kinds of things like that that will make it so that it scores exactly the way you want it to. Additionally, I should mention one more thing. To make things easier to set up your scoring, you can click on the copy to all targets of this type. So every rectangle target, in this particular instance, this is a rectangle target, every rectangle target will now get the value that I'm seeing right here, and it will also get the scoring mode that I'm seeing right here. So if I wanted to switch everything, every rectangle, remember, target 1 is worth 0.5 right now, and target 2 is worth 1. If I wanted to switch it and say, well, I want all the rectangles to be worth half a point and apply that to my score, I can click that button, which I just did. Once I click that button, I can go to target 2, and it is set up exactly the same way. So that's a quick way to apply that same scoring pattern to every one of your targets that are of the same type. That is the target scoring plugin for the laser activated shot reporter. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. As always, please leave us your suggestions and let us know what you think. Thank you.